Hey y'all, this is Ange. Welcome to another episode of Brickmetric, and today I have the Atari. It is Lego set 10306, and it is 2,532 pieces, and it is beautiful. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up in the 80s, and I remember having an Atari. It's been a long time, but I do remember having an Atari and playing some games such as Asteroid. And they included some of the game, like little figurines to go with, and like a game cartridge. So I'm going to show you those. But this is just such a cool set, and it looks so much like a real Atari. So put this down. Here are the different games, the little figurines that went with them. Here is Asteroid, and it has little asteroids. It looks like it has a little ship blowing one up here. Very cute. And then here is Centipede. And this, of course, it's got a centipede and some mushrooms. And then here is Adventure, and it actually has a little, I think they call it the magic chalice inside of it. It looks like a little trophy that you had to get to win the game. Very, very cute. So those are 3 different games. I'm going to wait and show you the cartridges. This actually looks like the real cartridges because I have a couple of the original games, so you can compare them. But they do look like real game cartridges. It's just amazing. And of course, you have your controller. This is old school controller, and it looks like a real controller. It even has like the rubbery, this really looks like something that would hook into, a gaming system, and has a little button. Now you can't press the little button, but you can move the joystick. So, oops. Put that back in there. All right. So, without further ado, here's the Atari. And I'm actually going to put it on here so we can switch it around and you can get a better look at it all the way around. The Atari itself. So here it is. Of course, you have your on and off button just like any other, gaming system. So this is the lovely Atari. Brings us back to the 80s. It was unveiled in 1977 at the Atari Video Computer System. 30 million units were sold. And this Lego version was from 1980. Unlike many earlier gaming systems that only offered a single game, Atari used a cartridge system. So this was probably the beginning of cartridges, like with, and then after that we saw Nintendo come out with the cartridges. It had a total of 527 games. It was established as the must-have gaming system in the late 70s and early 80s. And the introductory price was $199. So that would be about $948 now. And it included a console, 2 joysticks, a pair of paddles, and the combat game cartridge originally. And here is the on and off switch here. So you can, like any other gaming system. And back in the day, us 1980s babies, and late 1970s, we had black and white TVs and color TVs. Color TVs didn't come till later on. So here's a little switch for whether you had a color TV or a black and white TV. And you can actually have the switches go up and down. They don't have quite the click that the old Atari does, but it still works. And then you have a game select. So because the controller had one button, you had to use the game select to select your games. Talk about going back in time. Nobody does that anymore. We have remotes. We can talk to our TVs now and say select stuff, so that's a really big change, And then if your game froze, you had game reset because that happened with those older gaming systems. And you know, that just happened. That happened on occasion. You would actually plug your controller into the back. And you had typically on some of the older ones, you had a left controller or a right controller. So one or two people could play. And you also had like a difficulty level. So you can kind of see where they did some switches here in the back. But you can't really move them, so. Now let's turn this thing around so that I can show you the little surprise that Lego has in this set. So this is not just a, Lego set that is just a, just looks like a console. It has a little surprise. Let's open it up. And there's a little boy inside. He's playing his Atari. He's got a little miniature Atari in there. And it looks like he's got Asteroids on the screen. He has his little boombox over here, because we all had a boombox back in the 80s. He has a little VHS tape, because that's what we had, giant tapes, and a little can of Coke. And this little VHS tape is not a sticker. It's actually a printed piece. And we also have over here a little cat that's hanging out, and maybe some cars or something. Those little pieces are supposed to look like cars at the bottom. But there he is. He's all hidden in there. I thought that was a really cool feature that they added on this set. It took about, I would say 12 to 15 hours to build. And of course, they have like a few posters. Back in the 80s, we always had posters on our wall. So from whatever we were into at the time. And that's it. So that's the Atari. And it actually has, here is a printed Atari piece on the front, which is pretty cool. Now, you've seen the Lego set. I'm going to show you a very old Atari so that you can compare the size. So let me pull that out. So here is a really old Atari. It's got the paddles with it. And we hold it up. It's actually really close to size. I mean, it's pretty spot on, I have to say. Really similar. And I think they did a really good job on capturing the size and the look of this Lego set to make it look just like the original Atari. So this it has the power buttons, of course. So just what I showed you on the Lego set. Everything's the same. And in the back, it shows you the difficulty levels for the player 1 and player 2. So that's what I was kind of showing you there on the back. But this version is actually the Atari 2600, or one of the Atari 2600s. So very neat. So it does look a lot. I mean, they look really similar. But one last thing I wanted to show you was, found this. This is an old poster that had all the Ataris, different Ataris on it, and like the games. It shows you all the different games. It's really neat. Got Space Invaders, a lot of the space games there, and Asteroids. It's a really cool poster. And Cookie Monster Munch at the bottom. I don't remember Cookie Monster Munch. That's pretty funny. But pretty cool. And then let's flip it to the other side. This is actually showing some of the game systems. There's some more of the games here. And it shows some of the older games. And then if we switch it to this side, it actually shows some of the Atari systems. And shows the 2600, everything that can come with the 2600, and also the 5200 trackball controller. So it's pretty neat. I just wanted to show you that because I thought that was a nice piece of history there. One last thing I want to show you is here's the original cartridges for the Atari. And I just wanted to show you these cartridges on the Atari, or of the Lego Atari, and you can compare them to the ones themselves. So I love this. Look at the inside of this. So it does, I mean, it does look like an actual, like, little cartridge. I love it. So there's Adventure, Asteroids, and Centipede. And there's one of them I don't have. I have Asteroids, so you can see the old printing. Look at the printing there. And I also have Adventure. I do not have Centipede, but that's okay. And then Combat was the one that actually came with the gaming system. This is the old one that came with the gaming system. But look at the beautiful printing on these. I mean, they did a really good job. It's a little bit more, I think, on this one, the Adventure, a little bit more cartoony looking, and obviously it has a lot more brighter colors to it, but it's pretty spot on. You know, comparing the two. And Asteroids as well. It's got the Lego has a more cartoony look, but I mean, they did a really good job recreating that for the Lego set. So, but anyways, that's the Atari set. I think it's beautiful. And I absolutely love that they put inside of here the little boy that pops out, and he's playing his Atari and everything. So it's a really neat Lego set. I haven't committed to getting the Nintendo one yet, and maybe I should. But I think that this is a really cool, you know, line of Lego sets that they're doing by doing the gaming systems. So who knows what kind of gaming system we'll see in the future. Maybe you could take a guess and we can see what happens later on. So thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you think you want to take a guess at what Lego system, Lego gaming system they might make next, just drop a comment below. Bye, see ya.